Hey, what is up guys? Guitar here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. So let's talk about the Shupogaki. I think a lot of players have been asking me this question ever since they announced Swimsuit Mika, Swimsuit Nagisa, and of course like plenty of other students during the next fest. Now, this is going to be something that we need more information as of the time of me recording this video. So take all of this with a grain of salt. Obviously, I will try to update you guys when we get more information later on, right? So that's going to be how it is. So right now, if you guys are not aware, we are currently having this particular banner for camping characters, and of course later on the next so-called limited students, they are not New Year Fuuka and New Year Haruna. That's going to be a very good one, but the next one is pretty much going to be the Shupogaki Twins. And you know, you can see right here, they are going to come for us in global. It should be happening around the end of September. So depending on when you guys watch this video, make sure you guys mark your calendars accordingly. Now, a lot of players have pretty much came out and said, hey, I'm going to skip on the Shupogaki. Hopefully, save for the next fast student. In that particular case, that is going to be what they announced, which is Swimsuit Seiya, Swimsuit Hasumi, Swimsuit Nagisa, Swimsuit Mika. That's going to come in the next fest, right? So for us in global, we should be getting that either in early January next year in 2026, or it's like end of this year, which is like somewhere in the December, right? For now, in the JP server, both Swimsuit Nagisa and Swimsuit Mika are not yet released, so we can only speculate so much based on their skill kit etc. But let's focus on whether or not you should be skipping these Shupogaki Twins, because I think a lot of players are probably not aware of how strong or how relevant the Shupogaki Twins are right now. For the players, they are saying, okay, I'm going to skip Shupogaki Twins. You need to know that in this particular instance, there are two of them, right? So Hikari and Nozomi both have an independent skill set. I've covered them separately in a different video, but we're going to jump into it and hopefully give you guys a better idea of what they can do. Now, Hikari is going to be much more of a supporter. She's going to be a striker class, a Sonic specific supporter. She's probably going to be the one that you do not want to skip, because in most cases, she is going to be the one that's pretty much centered around a pawn, especially if it's going to be a Sonic type raid. So right now you can see she's a 2-cost Sonic type efficiency booster. Right here, you can see increased Sonic efficiency of other ally by 92% for 32 seconds. Alright, if the target consume additional EX skill cost, reduce additional consumption cost of EX skills by 2 for 1 EX skill. That is, this is going to be dependent on who is receiving the buff, right? Now, she also has this departure signals mechanic, right, where if the other ally uses EX skill about 4 or 2 times, right? 2 times is going to be for level 10. Upon activation of that skill, increase her attack speed, right? And also gains 1 departure signal. You can stack up to 3 of these. Departure signals are basically boost effects right here, right? When you get 3 of these, all departure signals will be consumed to increase 29% Sonic efficiency to all striker allies. So this is going to be very good. You are going to be able to get a lot of boost right here. So she's pretty much in a way, alright, if you guys are not familiar with a skill kit yet, she's pretty much a New Year Kayoko. Now, for those of you who are not aware, New Year Kayoko is going to be one of the best buffer in terms of the mystic type characters right now. So if you're tackling any of the blue raids or mystic type bosses, doesn't matter if it's Ghost, Shirokuro, in most cases you are going to bring her. She's basically that strong, right? So you can see her 2 costs right here is going to give you 92% mystic effectiveness. Alright, she also has one more skill right here where she can increase crit and her sub skill, alright, increase the user's attack when an ally crits 200 times and increase mystic effectiveness for allies that have an amulet by 41%. So you can see she gives 92% here, she gives 41% here. That is a lot of boost. Alright, so in a way, Hikari right here is going to do the same thing. Alright, so pretty much going to be crucial if you are tackling a Sonic type raid. So in that particular case, they are going to be like, in my opinion, like the second tier for the buffer, right? Basically the first tier, I would usually like put like universal buffers in there, like Kisaki, Rio, pretty much characters that you're going to use in every single raid. But this is going to be a element specific one depending on the boss that you fight. So they are not going to be the top priority, but still going to be very strong, especially if you're an end game player. If you're trying to tackle like Torment, Lunatic difficulty, they are pretty much going to be crucial. So in that particular particular case, definitely if you are trying to prepare your account, that's going to be what it is. Now how about the other character, in this case Nozomi, right? Now Nozomi is probably the one that you can maybe get away with skipping because she's going to be a DPS student, right? So she's right here at 4 costs, dealing up to 1000% damage to targeted enemies, and of course 147% damage to other enemies within a linear area. So additionally consume 2 costs, increasing damage dealt by 25% for every extra cost paid. Now Hikari pairs really well with her because Hikari can reduce the EX skill for the consumption right here for the additional one for EX cost right here, right? So you still get the damage increase right there. Pairs really well. She also have increased sonic efficiency right here for every 12 normal attacks, increase attack by 26.6% right here. And the sub skill, all attacks are guaranteed to be critical hits, alright, similar to Swimsuit Mika that we saw the other day. Increase own attack speed by 25% and critical damage by 25%. So I do think that Nozomi right here, she is going to be a pretty prominent DPS character. Now, because Hikari is such a crucial character, in fact she's probably one of the best supporter for Sonic teams in general, I feel like most players should definitely try to get Hikari, so she's going to be the main one that you want to pay attention to. Now I'm sure you guys are aware of how the banner works, so if you were to pull, right, so you get 200 pulls, let's say you get super unlucky, and then you are sharing the PT with the other characters, right? So in this case the other students, in that particular case, would it make sense to pull Hikari but not Nozomi? Now it depends on the pulls that needed, so if you go 180 to get Hikari, you might as well just go 200 pulls to just try to get both of them. So in that particular situation, definitely makes a lot of sense. Now if you can one-tap Hikari, you know, you get her in 10 pull, then sure, right, you don't really need Nozomi as much. I feel like in that particular case, you can get away with saving a little bit more. Now if you look at all the total assault right now, right, so in terms of all the JP ones that we'll be having, we got Wakamo Hovercraft, we got Gebura, which we previously had, Kurokage is probably going to come next, Wakamo Hovercraft, Gregorius, Gebura, Gauss, HOD. For the total assault generally, we don't really have any other Sonic type ones except for Kurokage, but that is going to happen like pretty much before the Shupogaki Twins. But even then, in Kurokage, I'm pretty sure that Swimsuit Hanako is still going to be better because you get the white AoE, right? How about Grand Assault? So this is going to be where it gets really interesting. You can definitely see right here, we're starting to get more Sonic type in the Grand Assault. So there's some with Torment for Shirokuro right here. There are some for Heronimus right here. There are some for Kitan right here, and then for Bina as well, you can see. And of course, a lot for Shirokuro that will unlock the Sonic type for Torment. So that's going to be pretty much where you're going to use both Hikari and Nozomi. Now, Grand Assault is going to be Grand Assault. I'm sure you guys are aware by now. Rankings don't really matter as much because if you care about the ticket, you're still going to get it regardless in Grand Assault, right? But I guess in most cases, where they shine is pretty much going to be in a lot of these situations. One more situation that they're going to shine at is going to be in the Tifa Raid right here, right? So Tifa Raid is going to be a boss from the final restriction. As you can see, Hikari and Nozomi is generally being used there in the higher floors. Now obviously it does depend on which floor you're trying to do, but right here, there's going to be way more option, I think, right? So that's going to be how it is. But final restriction is something that I believe most players don't really plan their pulls accordingly because it's going to be very expensive, and generally you don't really get pyroxenes for this mode. So I can understand that most players don't want to like spend too much specifically, but you can see Dress Saori is also being used right here as well. So that's going to be one of the few area that she pretty much shines, right? Or the Shupogaki Twins pretty much can be used at. Now, if you're not talking about those particular ones, then in pretty much every other situation, I feel like there's always going to be substitute for them. Example one right here, so you can see this is going to be specifically in a, I believe, Kitan, right? So Kitan is going to be a little bit finicky because we got two phase, right? So phase 1 and phase 2, but very strong right here for, you know, Nozomi because she shines in trying to hit these two ranges. I think you can pretty much see where the single line is going to be able to benefit from because you are able to hit two ranges right here, right? So now you can see pretty much you are able to line up these two ranges and you can basically ram both of them up at once, right? Now, you might be wondering, okay, so in this particular case, for Kitan specifically, isn't Swimsuit Hanako better, right? In some cases, or in the first half, yes, but in the second half, when it comes to the just one Kitan Zod itself, that's going to be where Shupogaki is going to be better, right? Because they can do additional damage as well due to that. Plus, it is very, very cheap if you pair them both together, alright? Hikari and Nozomi paired together. It's not that far off from Swimsuit Hanako's, you know, potentially damage overall, right? So if you're trying to chase ranks, this is going to be where it's very, very good at. Same situation right here, you can see. This is going to be specifically against Shirokuro. So this is going to be insane. As you can see, the boss is a Sonic type specifically for the Grand Assault, right? So you got the Shupogaki Twins shining right here. Now, I do think that in this particular instance, yes, Swimsuit Mika is probably going to be able to replace either one of them. You can probably use Chiaki or someone as well, so I don't think you need this particular range specifically, but you can't deny how strong they are, especially for, you know, Nozomi. She is always going to be able to secure that crit for you, right? The 100% crit, that guaranteed critical hit, is probably what makes her shine the most, right, in that particular area. So one more example that I can show you guys is going to be for this particular one. So this is for Heronimus. Now, for this particular one, Nozomi is not being used, as you can see, right? We got Hikari, so she is going to be the one that, like I mentioned, I feel like she's probably going to be the important one. In the future, you're probably going to need Hikari specifically, and then in this case, paired with Nagusa, that's going to be what it is. So you can see for Heronimus right here, Nagusa can be replaced with Chiaki or any other single target, you know, Sonic type DPS, but not necessarily Nozomi is needed. I feel like could still work, right, depending on the terrain advantage and a combination of other things. But these are the few areas where you are going to use Shupogaki Twins, alright? So you are pretty much going to consistently use them in this particular area. Now again, as of the time of me recording this video, right, so I am not aware of Swimsuit Mika's usage yet, because she's actually not out yet, believe it or not. Right now, they still have the Swimsuit Seiya and Swimsuit Hasumi for the time being. That's going to be the 100 free pulls. I feel like for most players, if you are a meta player, you definitely need to try to get them because of Hikari per se, right? So she's probably going to be the more important one between the two because she's a buffer. Like I said, she's pretty much a New Year Kayoko, but for Sonic, right? So if you are missing out on her, you're essentially missing out on New Year Kayoko. Now, can you basically still, you know, be in the top competitive spot if you miss out on a New Year Kayoko? I think it's going to be way harder. For a lot of players, you might not be able to do that one pen rotation. Again, seems like the meta right now is leaning towards more and more Sonic type characters or Sonic type DPS. We won't know, right, until later on they might introduce like a new boss that perhaps is going to be needed. With Swimsuit Mika and Swimsuit Nagisa, I feel like they will want to make them shine. Definitely they might announce something later, so we'll have to wait and see, and I will update you guys when things come. Now, should you skip the Shupogaki Twins, right? Like I mentioned, Hikari, Nozomi, sadly, they both come in a pair. Now, you can probably get away with not having Nozomi, but Hikari is probably going to be the strong one. I do recommend everyone to try to get Hikari at least. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think of the Shupogaki Twins. Are you guys planning to get them? Are you guys planning to skip them? We still have until the end of September. Alright, so I do think that there's going to be enough time for us to save. Subscribe, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.